I gently new hair.
You need song for ear.
No, go on. Eh?
You need song for ear. Not your ear, you only go to hear that.
And it go reduce. It go reduce where we then.
Now earpiece at the talk.
Stop shouting. You are shouting. I say you will reduce it then.
No, you don't need to use that. You're not too loud. Don't press it.
Yeah, guys, you're welcome. You're so pretty. Thank you so much.
You go there your right hand side. Right hand ear.
It's my right hand again.
Right ear. See, do your take with her. Like this. See, Kiki leave the way. Like this. Go put her. Go around the ear.
Guys, drop your names. I'm not sure say it's the right one. No. It's like
left.
this now.
See my left now.
No. It's like this now, B.
I say go put her for your right ear. See, do you take one? Don't put her.
Yeah, don't put her. All right, I'm just trying to.
That song where I could tell you, say, whether you know.
Guys, you're welcome. Happy Sunday.
Now this song.
Okay.
And then my Willow.
Ah, nice singer.
But not being singer. All those, they are crew.
Guys, you're welcome. Happy Sunday, guys. What are you doing? I'm about to give shout out, so I'm just warming up. Waiting for others to come in. And entertaining you with a lovely dance step. Yeah. I have AirPod, so I'm playing lovely music. Since YouTube will not allow me play music on this live, they always give me copyright, any song at all. Even if it's 2 seconds, they'll give me copyright on that video. So I don't want any problem. You're so pretty. Thank you so much. You're gorgeous. Guys, let's call others to come in. We're about to give ourselves a shout out. It's Sunday. Eh? Yeah, someone is asking me another hairstyle. Not really. Yeah, this is a wig. This one, this coil one, is a wig. So the hair still remains. So I just put on the wig half. Is it half? Not up to half. I just put it there, then pin it up. You know, just to give me another appearance. You know, I told you I'm a wig lover. And I love looking.
That's food.
That's why they waste food though.
Go and drop it.
All right, guys. Who was the first person here? I need to acknowledge that person. Yeah, Jenny. A big shout out to Jenny. She was the first person to come. She came in before. I think she came in about 30 seconds into the live. Clock it. Can you reduce it? It's too loud. Okay, it's fine. All right, so I will pick randomly now. A big shout out to Emily. Guys, hope we are having a lovely day today. Yeah, today's Sunday, tomorrow Monday, work starts again. So let's go. Please invite your friends, those that you know that are on this channel. Please invite them to come in. Let's do it as we used to. A big shout out to Ima. A big shout out to Vivi. A big shout out to Aisha. A big shout out to Dixie Myers. A big shout out to Broke. A big shout out to Januska. I love your hair. Thank you so much. Guys, let's go. Please let us take the like up to 10. Let's take the like up to 10, please. It's unfortunate that you can't hear this music. Very interesting. A big shout out to Lucy. A big shout out to Isabella. A big shout out to Anaya. I subscribe. You're gorgeous. Thank you so much, lovely. You are gorgeous as well. A big shout out to Amia. A big shout out to Ibrahim. A big shout out to Cornella. A big shout out to Gia. Let's go. Drop your names. I remember you, Gracely. Hope you're good. A big shout out to Ava. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Hugo. Babe, who is the papa? Oh, I've heard that song before. The papa. Asale papa. A big shout out to Rayleigh. A big shout out to Haley. A big shout out to Ria. Papa Ute. Ute, Papa Ute. Ute. Ute, Papa Ute. I like your makeup and your hair. Thank you so much. Aya. Anaya. A big shout out to Elizabeth. A big shout out to Ife Oluwa. A big shout out to Lara. Shout out to Aliyah. A big shout out to Willow. A big shout out to Ada. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Adi. A big shout out to teacher Elizabeth. Are you a teacher? A big shout out to Frederica. A big shout out to Aisha. A big shout out to Sammy. A big shout out to Cindy. I like the braids in your hair. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Brinley. Guys, please let's take the like up to 20. Please don't forget to subscribe. I love you all. Ute. A big shout out to Sophia. A big shout out to Amanda. A big shout out to Austin. A big shout out to Aliyah. Oh, how do I sub? Okay, how to subscribe. You go to your profile. You see, yeah, just go to your profile. No, go to my profile. You see some, I don't know whether it's round box. You see subscribe. Then you click on it. I guess I'm right.
Should be displayed on the
It
on your
is.
phone.
It should be displayed on your.
As she's on this live.
Yeah, it should be displayed on your phone as you're on this live. You just see subscribe. Just read. Just keep reading. You see subscribe. Then you click on it. Oh, I sub now. Thank you so much. Thank God you found it. A big shout out to Jaheli. And a big shout out to Mano. A big shout out to Muhammad. A big shout out to Denny. Big shout out to Yamina. A big shout out to Rezi. A big shout out to Kataleya. A big shout out to Flurry. A big shout out to Rejoice. A big shout out to Jazz. A big shout out to Tini. A big shout out to Alena. A big shout out to Rosalie. A big shout out to Elizabeth. I love you too, darling. Please let's take the like up to 20. Thank you so much. And please don't forget to subscribe. After you've done that, just come to the comment section, pull down your name back to back. A big shout out to Nelly. A big shout out to Rowan. A big shout out to Hapa. You are the best as well. Thank you so much, gorgeous. A big shout out to Mira. A big shout out to Rowan. A big shout out to Nelly. A big shout out to Megan. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Annabelle. Where are you from? I'm from Nigeria, but I live in the UK. A big shout out to Aisha. A big shout out to Lisbeth. Shout out to King. A big shout out to Aria. A big shout out to Sama. A big shout out to Nadiva. A big shout out to Sina. Shout out to Christina. Shout out to Sienna. A big shout out to Jumana. I love Nigeria, really. Thank you. I love your country as well. A big shout out to Ina. A big shout out to Ife Olua. A big shout out to Givana. A big shout out to Hiraza. A big shout out to Faith. A big shout out to Haya. A big shout out to Flo. Yeah. A big shout out to Irida. A big shout out to Sophia. Yeah. A big shout out to Haya. Let's go. You like my makeup? I'm just trying. A big shout out to Stanley. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Deep Jones. A big shout out to Zara. Shout out to Stanley. A big shout out to Needy. A big shout out to Ariana. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Lisa. A big shout out to Julia. Shout out to Ayaya. Yaya. Yaya. A big shout out to Liz. A big shout out to Aida. Thank you so much for spamming. I love you. A big shout out to Ailey. A big shout out to Mess. A big shout out to Jacinia. Buddy, big shout out to you, buddy. You all are divas, you know, you slay. A big shout out to Brianna. A big shout out to Lola. A big shout out to Lisa. A big shout out to Liana. A big shout out to Nawa. A big shout out to Kankana. A big shout out to Alana. A big shout out to Haya. A big shout out to Polly. A big shout out to Kankana. A big shout out to Lisa. Guys, please drop your names. I'm not saying names. I'm not saying your names. I'm just like, I'm repeating myself, repeating the same names. Yeah, please, let's drop our names. Thank you. A big shout out to Rian. A big shout out to Millie. A big shout out to Amaira. A big shout out to Kendall. A big shout out to OP. A big shout out to Azan. A big shout out to Loishi. A big shout out to Elizabeth. Shout out to Corey. Shout out to Polly. Shout out to Violet. A big shout out to Widow. A big shout out to Hassan. A big shout out to Jacinia. A big shout out to Wilda. A big shout out to Pixel. A big shout out to Kiki. Yeah. Oh, yeah. A big shout out to Kata. A big shout out to Islamahi. A big shout out to our body. Shout out to Eben. A big shout out to Jessica. A big shout out to Tana. A big shout out to Eben. A big shout out to our body. Our body. Eh. A big shout out to Nikita. Eh. A big shout out to Scarlett. A big shout out to Chloe. A big shout out to Elizabeth. Elizabeth. A big shout out to Jessie. A big shout out to Rhoda. Eh? A big shout out to Odd. A big shout out to Rhoda. A big shout out to Camille. A big shout out to Dio. A big shout out to Angelina. A big shout out to Emilia. A big shout out to Susanna. A big shout out to Claire. A big shout out to Nada. A big shout out to Maria. A big shout out to Georgia. A big shout out to Simra. A big shout out to Body. A big shout out to Kalia. A big shout out to Leah. Yeah, if your birthday is today, drop your name and say, yeah, your name and my birthday is today. Okay, so I know you. A big shout out to Desi. Sorry, I didn't get that. Please do it again, please. Hi, my name is. Okay, Nexus, your birthday is today. Who else? Anne, Nexus, Anne, and who again? And Emony, Nexus, and Emony. Who else again? Okay, Anne, Nexus, Emony. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Anus and Nexus. Aya. Happy birthday to them. Happy birthday to you. Best wishes. Wish you all the best. A big shout out to Jess. A big shout out to Presley. A big shout out to Vahana. Is it Vahana or Sa? Anyways, that's what I saw. A big shout out to Gianna. Thank you so much for subbing, Gianna. I love you. A big shout out to Hapa. A big shout out to J Senior. A big shout out to Adali. A big shout out to Kaylee. A big shout out to Nelly. A big shout out to Rayleigh. A big shout out to Hosna. A big shout out to Fred. Shout out to Zahava. A big shout out to Hawa. A big shout out to Nora. A big shout out to Bob. A big shout out to Yusuf. I think it's Yusuf. A big shout out to Susanna. A big shout out to RYB. A big shout out to Rose. Rose flower. A big shout out to Millicent. A big shout out to Zoya. Eh? Lava. Eh? A big shout out to Rosa. A big shout out to Ima. A big shout out to Nadi. A big shout out to Blossom. A big shout out to Isabella. Eh? I love you too. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Aya Girl. A big shout out to Sarah. Eh? A big shout out to Nafi. A big shout out to Sophie. A big shout out to Laila. Lava, 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 emba, kumbaya, lava, lava, kumbaya, lava, lava, fire, fire, I'm entertaining you guys, eh? Dance with me now. I'm not seeing dance emoji. A big shout out to Skylar. A big shout out to Maya. A big shout out to Hapa. A big shout out to Haley. A big shout out to Isla. A big shout out to Billy. Big shout out to Faith. A big shout out to Betsy. A big shout out to Esha. A big shout out to Kamona. A big shout out to Sammy. I used to be a very good dancer. I used to be a very good dancer on stage. I danced on stage back then in the university. Yeah, it wasn't easy to merge social life and social life and reading. Yeah, it was hard, but at least I passed. At least I passed. A big shout out to Maya. A big shout out to Johnny. Guys, please let's go like. Can we take the like up to 40? Thank you so much. If you have not subscribed, please let's go subscribe. Thank you. After you've done that, drop your name back to back. I will give you a shout out. Okay, let's go. A big shout out to Kenny. A big shout out to Anaya. A big shout out to Honey. A big shout out to Isabel. A big shout out to Freya. A big shout out to Jace. A big shout out to Zotani. A big shout out to Flo. A big shout out to Aurora. A big shout out to Yuri. A big shout out to Jessica. A big shout out to Helly. A big shout out to Broccoli. A big shout out to Ava. A big shout out to Dennis. A big shout out to Copper. A big shout out to Matilda. A big shout out to Gracie. A big shout out to Yuwa. A big shout out to Liam. A big shout out to Summer. Let's go. You will Johnny. Question. Guys, let's go like and subscribe. Can we take the like up to 45, please? A big shout out to Jasmine. A big shout out to Maria. A big shout out to Rotondwa. A big shout out to Mia. A big shout out to Makili. A big shout out to Brayley. A big shout out to Mia. A big shout out to Lila. A big shout out to Guyana. A big shout out to Dash. Shout out to Bintu. Shout out to Mega. Shout out to Lilian. Shout out to Rose Pa. A big shout out to Rosa. Shout out to Georgia. Shout out to Valentina. A big shout out to Adley. A big shout out to Lola. A big shout out to Lily. Shout out to Mega. Shout out to Sienna. A big shout out to Jessica. A big shout out to Bianca. A big shout out to Chanel. A big shout out to Bob. A big shout out to Tonzoma. A big shout out to Sasa. A big shout out to Aya. I love you too. A big shout out to Painted. A big shout out to Annie. A big shout out to Amelia. A big shout out to Copper and Hazel. A big shout out to Mia. A big shout out to Untokozo. A big shout out to Catherine. A big shout out to Annie. Shout out to Darcy. Shout out to Rachel. Shout out to Susanna. Shout out to Annie. A big shout out to Emilia. A big shout out to Rachel and Sumidi. A big shout out to Sophia Densid. A big shout out to Catherine. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Milo. Shout out to Maya Zoe. A big shout out to Florence. A big shout out to Ruth. Shout out to Millie. Shout out to Alina. A big shout out to Maya Zoe. A big shout out to Evie. A big shout out to Junkie. Jukiat Dogs. A big shout out to Leah. A big shout out to Young Cha. A big shout out to Luke. A big shout out to Zania. A big shout out to Amelia. A big shout out to Emmanuel. A big shout out to Emanuela. Yeah?
Yes, it's my email address. It's my email address.
A big shout out to Koki. Shout out to Usra. A big shout out to Max. A big shout out to Maya Zoe. A big shout out to Uni. A big shout out to Lana. A big shout out to Vanessa. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Zachary. A big shout out to Emily. A big shout out to Mia. Shout out to Usra. Shout out to Vanessa. Shout out to Remy. Shout out to Aria. I love you singing. Thank you so much. I love you too. A big shout out to Lola. A big shout out to Sandra. Eh? A big shout out to Sandra. Eh? A big shout out to Nobe. Eh? A big shout out to Junior. I love you too. Thank you. A big shout out to Bie. Eh? A big shout out to Amira. A big shout out to Sarah. Eh? A big shout out to Chloe. A big shout out to Bien. You are the best. Thank you, Amelia. I love you. A big shout out to Lee. A big shout out to Anwen. Let's go. Eh? A big shout out to Mila. 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 A big shout out to Baby. A big shout out to Paige. Eh? A big shout out to Sienna.
Pick up your shoes, roll up your socks and go off.
A big shout out to Gabriela. Thank you guys. Please let's go like and subscribe. Can we take the like up to 60 for me? Thank you. Let's take the like up to 60. And please, let's subscribe. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Guyana. A big shout out to Florence. A big shout out to Erica. Big shout out to Mia. Big shout out to Brando. A big shout out to Easy. A big shout out to Brando Skylar. A big shout out to Elizabeth. A big shout out to Summer. Big shout out to Treasure. A big shout out to Dina. A big shout out to Amira. A big shout out to Sophie. A big shout out to Baby Boy. A big shout out to, let's go, Amanda. Yeah, let's go. A big shout out to Riza. A big shout out to Mandy. Mandy. A big shout out to Yuche. A big shout out to Elise. A big shout out to Lana. You love my hair a lot. Oh, oh, thank you so much. A big shout out to Yona. A big shout out to Danny. A big shout out to Ava. A big shout out to Madisi. Eh?
Find it on Google.
A big shout out to Treasure. A big shout out to Irihada.
Search for Holy Angel.
Oh my God, your voice is so sweet. Oh, let me pin you. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Jania. Thank you so much. I love you. You all are gorgeous as well. Your names are stunning. Beautiful names. A big shout out to Farah. A big shout out to Bristol. You can hear them. You can hear those names. Pretty names. Absolutely gorgeous. A big shout out to Clara. A big shout out to Queen. A big shout out to Emily. Can you sing? Amira, today's your birthday, okay?
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amira, and everyone that is celebrating today. Happy birthday to you. I wish you all the best. Best wishes. I love you all. So no more. We've sung for everyone, okay? For today. A big shout out to Laura. A big shout out to Bella. You're welcome, darling. Everyone, happy birthday to you all. A big shout out to Temi, Jo, Pello, Onifade. A big shout out to Maria. Guys, let's take the like up to 65. And please subscribe. I need to take something to drink. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Eh? Let's just use 1 minute to like and subscribe. 1 minute. 20 seconds is gone. I love your voice. It's so beautiful. From Aya. Thank you so much, Aya. You've been so positive on the comment section. I've been seeing your comments back to back, Aya. Thank you so much. I do appreciate. Not only you have been saying some other comments, beautiful, lovely comments. Guys, thank you so much. I love you all. Your hair is so beautiful. Thank you so much. You all are gorgeous. And that's why I'm always happy coming to stream. Yeah, I always happy coming live. Because when I come, I always see all these lovely comments, beautiful names. It makes my day. Eh?
Daddy, can you put, is this me, YouTube music?
Don't worry, I'll dance for you people one day, but not just watch me dance while I sit down.
Continue.
But someday I'll dance. Like when I have enough strength, I will do it. But now I'm just managing my strength. I love you, Evie. A big shout out to Charlie. Guys, let's carry on. Yeah, let's carry on. Please drop your names now.
Daddy, what do they say? Daddy, can
Oh,
you
I'm
read
sick.
this?
This is literally so
What is that?
so calming. God bless you, my darling. Oh, a big shout out to Zara. Please drop your name back to back. Okay, let's go. A big shout out to Katy. A big shout out to Chloe. A big shout out to Marge. Yeah, someone said, yeah, she's sick and this stream is a bit relaxing for her. Oh, that's lovely. That's a wonderful comment. I pray for healing and hope you get well soon, okay? Yeah, I wish you all the best of luck, good health, okay? Now drop your names. A big shout out to you, Shaylee. A big shout out to you.
Daddy,
I'm not seeing any name.
Daddy,
A big shout out to Daisy. Did someone said?
music.
A big shout out to you, Chan. A big shout out to Nava. A big shout out to
Daddy,
Kumush. A big shout out to
YouTube
Haya. Happy birthday to you.
So,
A big shout out to you, Kasi. I love your voice. Oh, thank you so much. A big shout out to Aiva. A big shout out to Daniel. A big shout out to Naomi. I love you too. A big shout out to, can you live all day? Somebody is saying I should. Someone said I should go live all day. Oh my God, I'll try. Wish me good luck. A big shout out to Caris. A big shout out to Nadia. A big shout out to Nema. Oh my God, a big shout out to Arabella. A big shout out to Zoe. Yeah, please, guys, let's go like and subscribe. Can we take the like up to 70, please? Let's take the like up to 70. And we should also subscribe. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Nema. Is that the popular Nema, footballer? Guys, we have Nema here. A big shout out to Susanna. I'm kidding. A big shout out to Miku. If I say we have Messi here or Ronaldo, I know this stream will be up to million viewers. So I don't want to cause any problem for myself. God, let's go. A big shout out to Mega. I will subscribe. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Kayla. Thank you for subbing. A big shout out to Mega. A big shout out to Renata. A big shout out to Mano. A big shout out to Kumush. From where? From Uzbekistan. Lovely. Excuse me. A big shout out to Olivia. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you, darling. I wish you all the very best. A big shout out to Amira. A big shout out to Aura. A big shout out to Mira. Your grandma passed on. May so rest in peace. And my heart goes out to you, the family. Yeah, my condolence to you and the family. A big shout out to Zainab. A big shout out to Olivia. A big shout out to Hella. Please be strong, my darling. Okay? Please be strong. Yeah, grandma's gone, but she's with you all, okay? A big shout out to Sophia. You have pretty voice, really. I think my voice is kind of deep.
You took me.
Yeah, my voice is kind of deep. You know, some persons will come here and ask me if I'm transgender. Probably because of the way I sound. I'm not, my voice is not tiny like the usual lady's voice. I have a deep voice. Yeah. So when people say, oh, they like my voice, I'll be like, ah, how come? But I sound sometimes like a man, like, but nevertheless, if you don't put music, let me know, Oga. A big shout out to
Yeah,
Young
put her for
Chell.
prayer.
A big shout out to Latina. A big shout out to Lily. Lily. A big shout out to Yo. Hi, Ketseya Lover. A big shout out to Vivi. Shout out to Selena. Let's go. Hi, I'm back. Hi, Chelsea. A big shout out to Danny. Welcome back. A big shout out to Susanna Rikoska. A big shout out to Kelana. Oh, bless you. First day at school. All the best. You know they play.
Yeah, you touch her now. Talk about EFS.
A big shout out to Sassy. A big shout out to Kiara. Big shout out to Sadie. A big shout out to Sadie. I love your voice. Thank you so much. A big shout out to North. A big shout out to May. A big shout out to Dance, yeah. A big shout out to Emily. A big shout out to Susie. You're pretty. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Emily. A big shout out to Paisley. Shout out to my cousin asked if you could shout out her. Her name is a big shout out to Priestley, your cousin. A big shout out to Amen. A big shout out to Amados. Shout out to Christ, our Savior. Shout out to Asia. Shout out to Kiri. Shout out to Evie. Shout out to Oscar. Shout out to Eddie. How are you doing? I'm great, my dear. A big shout out to Kiri. Big shout out to Arion. Shout out to Mackenzie. Hi, I am a big fan. Thank you, Andre. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Ayesha. A big shout out to Asia. I love you so much. You love my life. Thank you so much. Thank you. Big shout out to you. Big shout out to Amira. Big shout out to Amani. Shout out to Reddy. Shout out to Broccoli. I love your hair. Thank you, gorgeous. I love you too. I love your hair today. Aww. Thank you, guys. A big shout out to Cassidy. A big shout out to Aliyah. A big shout out to baby brother. You have baby brother. Oh, it should be so cute. I love babies. A big shout out to Adi. A big shout out to Carol. I love your personality. Oh, thank you so much. A big shout out to Brooklyn. Make sure you subscribe and like. Put add please to it, please. Let's be nice. Please subscribe and like. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Tick. Shout out to TK, a big shout out to Nerdis, you did. Thank you for subscribing, guys. Yes. Thank you for subbing. I love you all. Can we take the like up to 90, please? How are you doing? I'm fine. As you can see me, I'm just so happy. Tomorrow I might not be this smiling. You all know, my old subscribers, you know, sometimes I might not be this, smiling. I'll just put that face and be like, shout out to Sarah, shout out to Paul, shout out, shout out to Sophia. So sometimes, yeah, I'm just happy. Sometimes I might be a bit low, but nothing serious. Let me put it that way. Nothing too serious. So if you come and start asking me, what's the matter? Are you okay? Are you sick? Are you no? No, I'm just like that. Yeah, I can be very calm. I can be just very, smiling, laughing. Yeah, it just depends. A big shout out to Noxim too. A big shout out to Melissa. Shout out to Happy. Shout out to Batu. Shout out to High Spice. Shout out to Mira. A big shout out to Erin. A big shout out to Ayesha. Shout out to Maddie. A big shout out to Lucy. A big shout out to Bato. Guys, let's take the like up to 90, please. Please, let's go. Let's go faster so that we can continue with the shout out. A big shout out to Siri. Let's take the like up to 90. Cinnamon to Papa. Asane Papa. A big shout out to Emily. A big shout out to Yusuf. A big shout out to Nora. A big shout out to Eri. Shout out to Masira. A big shout out to Jasmine. Yeah, I sang happy birthday to you already. To everyone. I sang happy birthday to everyone. So Jasmine, happy birthday to you. A big shout out to Joy Lee. Big shout out to Crystal. Shout out to Raigan. Big shout out to Jasmine. Shout out to No. Shout out to Melanie. Shout out to Raleigh. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Ben. Shout out to Peyton. Shout out to Katila. Shout out to Alina. Shout out to Romy. A big shout out to Alina. Shout out to Skylar. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Abe. Shout out to Kiki. Shout out to Ima. Shout out to Fatima. Guys, can we take the like up to 90? Take the like up to 90. Let me drink tea. Take the like up to 90. Please subscribe if you haven't. Shout out to Nora. Shout out to Tula. Shout out to Lee. A big shout out to Lily. Shout out to Rayleigh. Shout out to Arabella. A big shout out to Marina. Happy birthday, Marina. A big shout out to Luna Ray. Big shout out to Blessing. A big shout out to Talina. A big shout out to Asena. Pride. When you want to start the class for the person?
Say don't get back to me.
Yeah.
Say you want to talk to the husband.
Okay. A big shout out to Talina. A big shout out to Casey. A big shout out to Phoebe. A big shout out to Lily Mai. Shout out to Nova. Shout out to Rumi. A big shout out to Nati. A big shout out to Merena. Are we sub? Thank you so much. Guys, let's go subscribe. Please, let's take the like up to 100. God bless you. A big shout out to Viviante. A big shout out to Emily. A big shout out to Marena. A big shout out to Asena. A big shout out to Bia. A big shout out to Rumi. A big shout out to Shumok. A big shout out to Kali Kali. Shout out to Zaina. Oh my God, I got a shout out. Congratulations to you. A big shout out to Natalie Hakim. A big shout out to Braylon. You have a new sub. Congratulations. You're welcome, my darling. Nice to meet you. A big shout out to Lincoln. A big shout out to Remington. A big shout out to Mike Oxlong. Guys, let's go. Please take the like up to 100. Let's like and subscribe. Love you too. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Lee. I can't sing, Billy. I'm sorry, I can't sing. A big shout out to Felista. Ute Papa Ute. A big shout out to Michael and Massin. Are you both twin? A big shout out to Mayflower. Hiya. A big shout out to Skylar. How are you, dear? A big shout out to Channel. Big shout out to Channel. Someone said I hate you. What does your hate got to do with me? It is your hate now. It is your hate, not my hate. So go with your hate. Why I go with my like? Oh, you hate who you don't know. Your health should be more important to you, my darling. Do you know the more you hate, the more you have health issues? So there's no point hating. Live and let others live. Stay positive and be nice to everyone. God bless you. A big shout out to Soma. A big shout out to Bato. A big shout out to E. Morgan. A big shout out to Mike Oxlong. A big shout out to Emily. A big shout out to Sari. A big shout out to Nasi. A big shout out to Kate. A big shout out to Kali. A big shout out to Kate. A big shout out to Sage. You're welcome, darling. You're welcome. I'm fine, thank you. And you? A big shout out to Aria. A big shout out to Tsunami. A big shout out to Haley. Shout out to Kiki. Hi, Sandra. Hope you're good, my lovely. A big shout out to Kali. A big shout out to Eden. A big shout out to Mike Cox Long. A big shout out to Steph. Let's go. Big shout out to me. Thank you so much. So sorry I missed your live. No worries, Sandra. I understand. Okay, I know we always see anytime, any day, but just always keep me in mind. And now that you are a subscriber on this channel, please always show your support, 100% support, both in the live stream and on the videos I post. Like dropping your own opinion, your lovely comments, likes, and also share to your loved ones or to your page. Okay, so that's it. I love your voice, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much. I can't hear you, but you also have a lovely voice. Thank you. No worries, Sandra. No worry, I love you. A big shout out to Soraya. A big shout out to James. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Bie. A big shout out to Kali. Thank you. A big shout out to Cadence. A big shout out to Carl. A big shout out to Preppy Vlog 08. A big shout out to Rosemary. I love you too. A big shout out to Madison. A big shout out to Mesa. Let's go. A big shout out to Hamad. Guys, let's go. Please, thank you for the 100 likes. Oh, please, let's don't forget to subscribe as well. It's always interesting on this live. Yeah, always interesting. I'm sorry I don't give my numbers out. Yeah, I don't give my numbers out, unfortunately. So sorry for that. A big shout out to Amelia. A big shout out to... Oh, you're a deep sleeper. Yeah, no worries. Probably we are not on the same country, and we have different time zone. So definitely, I'm in the UK. So if you are somewhere else, we won't have the same time. So don't judge yourself. Don't worry, Sandra. I'm absolutely fine, and I'm happy that you are one of us here. That's the most important thing. Okay, so don't worry. A big shout out to Taminadu. A big shout out to Taminadu, India. A big shout out to Julie. Shout out to Azan. Oh, no worries. Even if you miss my life, you will always see me. You can go to my videos. You'll see videos that I dropped on fashion acts. You can comment on that, even if you miss the live. Okay, but tomorrow is there, next tomorrow is there. You will always be there to stream or come live with me. A big shout out to Ima. A big shout out to Sky. You're so nice. No worries. My name is Asiet. A big shout out to Asiet. A big shout out to Ada. Oh, thank you. Thank you. A big shout out to Sky. A big shout out to Mariam. A big shout out to Mako. A big shout out to Azan Kenya. A big shout out to Sailor. You're gorgeous. Thank you. A big shout out to Chloe Wilson. A big shout out to Jaylay. A big shout out to Aside. A big shout out to Sad. A big shout out to Sky. A big shout out to Esther. A big shout out to Marina. A big shout out to Mira. A big shout out to Zaza. Shout out to Ashian. Shout out to Ethan. Shout out to Mira. Shout out to Livia. Let's go, guys. A big shout out to Nima. Shout out to Joes. Shout out to Eileen. Shout out to Nima. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Garrett Wilson. Shout out to Heather. Shout out to Seren. Shout out to Jamarion. Shout out to Mira. Shout out to Lee Eunice. So I'll mark it on my calendar. Bless you. Yeah, I go live every day, but the time is not fixed yet, unfortunately. Yeah, the time is not fixed because of my schedule. I some days I'm busy, some days I'm not. So I stream. Just know I stream every day. Okay, the best thing you can do is to click on the notification button. Yeah, the notification button, live button. So when I go live, your phone will automatically notify you that, yeah, I'm live. I think that's the best way for now. For now. Then when I'm ready to have a fixed date, please, I'm so sorry. When I'm ready to have a fixed date, um, I'll let you all know. I'll pass it around. Okay. Okay, you've done it. Okay, better. I think that's the best way now. A big shout out to Brooklyn. Girl Pop. It's okay. No worries. A big shout out to Ruby. Shout out to Kati. Shout out to Kira. A big shout out to Margot. I love your channel. Oh, thank you so much, Margot. Thank you. A big shout out to Sarah, who is the beautiful. I love you. You're the best for the love. Hope that the beautiful is everything. Thank you so much for that. A big shout out to Emira. A big shout out to Toji Funshi Guru. A big shout out to Serene Kapla. A big shout out to Nova. Shout out to Stevie. Shout out to Madeline. Shout out to Jamarion. Shout out to Poppy. Shout out to Gabby. Thank you. You're welcome, darling. You're welcome. I am in your class. Welcome, Jania. Shout out to Joseph. I'm so sorry, but I'm sleepy and tired. I'm going. All right. Go have some sleep, darling. Sweet dreams. Carry on. Maybe shout out to Sam. Maybe shout out to Gabby. Follow. Maybe shout out to Fatma. Shout out to Kitso. Shout out to Navi. Shout out to Emira. Shout out to Rochelle. Shout out to Zane. Shout out to Kitso. Shout out to Marana. Shout out to Ame. Shout out to Fate. Shout out to Emirin, your lovely daddy. Shout out to Erica from yesterday. Thank you, love. Maybe shout out to Emilia. Shout out to Kere. Shout out to Eri. Shout out to Coco. Bye, lovely Sandra. A big shout out to Sam. Big shout out to Kaylee. Let's go. Please, let's go like and subscribe. Guys, just give me 1 minute. I just want to get a cup of water. 1 minute, please. Please just be tapping for me. As just 1 minute. 1 minute tapped. Spam, 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 spam. I'll be back. Please, 1 minute. Let's see progress.
Okay, cool. Yeah, your ex for their hashed. Yeah,
How many was it before?
7 something. Go now.
No. Be serious. Don't do like that. Be serious.
You are laughing, Abby. You said your mom is slapping me. You are laughing. You are laughing. Tapauti picking.
A big shout out to Hattie. A big shout out to Amber. A big shout out to Kaylee. A big shout out to Eric. A big shout out to Leila. A big shout out to Seren Kapla. Guys, let's go like and subscribe. Let's go. All of my chickens. What's wrong with them? A big shout to Bay. A big shout to Dritchy. Shout out to Danicho. Please, let's go like and subscribe. Big shout out to Kaylee. Big shout out to Sengiz. Shout out to Destiny. I think Pride. I think it was 7 6. Eh?
I know that 7 something.
Oh. A big shout out to Destiny. A big shout out to Kira. A big shout out to Maria. A big shout out to Ho. A big shout out to Kaylee. A big shout out to Asena. Shout out to Sophia. Oh my God, thanks. You're welcome, dear. Big shout out to Anzoa. You're so pretty, thank you. Big shout out to Coco, Betsy, Daniela, Vivian, Doris, Autumn. Shout out to all of you. They are all my chicken by the sorry to all your chicken. All right. A big shout out to Flora. A big shout out to Stella. A big shout out to Mukisa. A big shout out to Serene, Esa. Oh, to your daughter in the hospital. Yeah, I wish her good health, and I hope she gets well soon. Be strong, mama. Okay, all will be fine. All right. I'm sending my love to you and your daughter. Thank you. I've not forgotten about you, Maya, at all. Never. How will I forget our precious Maya? Hi, Maya. How are you, darling? A big shout out to Asia. Shout out to Maya. You're welcome. A big shout out to Kiana. Your hair is clocking. Thank you so much. You are a queen. Thank you, my lovely. It was a joke. Rachel, so you pranked me. That's fine. A big shout out to Ungi. That's my favorite hairstyle. Is it this one? Is this my is this your favorite hairstyle? You mean this? Suits you the most. Oh, thank you so much. A big shout out to Avaheva. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, guys. A big shout out to Eru. I'm sorry, I was testing my boyfriend. Let's be careful with what we test, though. Don't go and put something that is serious on this platform while testing your boyfriend. And you say a lot of things on the text. Then I'll be like, what's going on? Anyways, a big shout out to Yafa. A big shout out to Dia. A big shout out to Riva. I want to say a big thank you for those that have gone to my comment section and they are commenting, so I can see the notification is just dropping back to back. There's somebody on my video commenting back to back. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Your Soak. Hello, my name is Rennie. Hi, beautiful Rennie. How are you? A big shout out to your voice is so beautiful. Oh, we are twins. A big shout out to Kale. That's a lot of text. Your voice is beautiful. Please shout out me My name is Kaylee, and my brother is sick. His name is Kaylee as well. We are twins. A big shout out to you, Kaylee, and your lovely brother, Kaylee. I hope he gets well soon. A big shout out to Bessie, Bestie, Sarah. Hi, gorgeous. A big shout out to Kaylee. A big shout out to Poppy. Guys, let's go like and subscribe. Thank you so much. A big shout out to people. Kiki, I got a content idea for ya. Go on, share it. A big shout out to Mila. A big shout out to Emily. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Isla. You would do hair wash video and with your kids. Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do hair content. Yeah, that is, I've been on Facebook for a very long time. So I just started YouTube and I'm just trying to check. That was what I was doing on my Facebook, hairstyle content. When I wash my hair with my daughter's hair, I post it. I make her hair, I post it. Make my hair, I post it. Yeah, you don't have Facebook is fine. Yeah, that's fine. A big shout out to Prosper. A big shout out to Stella. So I will do that. No worries. Yeah, I'll do all of that. Okay. I'll do all of that. Even if I'm going to the beach, like if I'm going to the beach and I want to go swim in the pool, I will post it. So don't worry. Don't worry, okay? That might give you lots of view and like you could recommend hair products. Exactly. You are right. I agree with you. Thank you for that wonderful idea. Clock it. Because I got curly hair too. Oh, Maya. No worries. Thank you so much, my darling. A big shout out to Vivian. A big shout out to Bianca. Oh, you're lovely. Sorry about the prank. Oh, yeah, somebody just pranked me and I fell. What an April fool for me. A big shout out to Kai18. A big shout out to Ria. A big shout out to Prosper. I love you too. A big, a big shout out to Prosper. Shout out to Alina. Thank you so much. Guys, let's go like and subscribe. A big shout out to Georgina. A big shout out to Dakota. Shout out to Summer Rose. Shout out to Paisley. Papa Hote. Shout out to Kiki. Shout out to Edward Colley. Shout out to Shanoya. Shout out to Holly. Shout out to Ariel. A big shout out to Kiki. Yeah, that's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. Go girl. Go girl. A big shout out to Summer Rose. A big shout out to Rose. You're welcome, Maya. Thank you for that. I swear, I'm really sorry about the prank. I swear, I'm really sorry about the prank. Oh my God, Rachel. Why me? Sunday afternoon. But anyways, no worries. I'll be fine. Okay. You again. Yes, it's me again. You keep seeing me. Phyllis, you keep seeing me. You fed up, right? Fed up of seeing my face. He said you again. Oh no, you guys never seems to amaze me. A big shout out to Gaia. A big shout out to Melvin. A big shout out to Pintin. A big shout out to Barrett. A big shout out to Gaia. Eh? A big shout out to Umbali. Your hair is long. Yeah, that one there. That one there. It's a wig. And this one here, it's my natural hair. So I folded it down. What? Okay, let me show you. Yeah, this one here is my natural hair. Where's my hair now? I just want to show you the length. Yeah, I got it. So that's my real hair up from here, yeah, down there. So it's just from here to here. That's the length. So it's quite long. Yeah, it's quite long for coily hairs. It looks natural. Yes, very natural. It looks natural. You're right. But it's PC Coi's wave on, yeah. A big shout out to Freya. Yeah, my hair is this full as well. But I'm just restarting the growth because my hair was messed up with this relaxer, this chemical. So I'm regrowing my hair again. If you look at the tip of my hair, it's very weak. Yeah, very weak, and I think it will definitely cut off or break out. So I'm just regrowing the hair again. I want my natural hair, honestly. I'm craving for it. Like I need my thing back. So I'll just wait for like 2 years or three. Yeah, I'll get my hair back. A big shout out to Alona. A big shout out to Wandel. A big shout out to no, Damaged. Yeah, damaged will be the word for it. Yeah, my hair was damaged. Yeah, thank you. I refuse to cut my hair. Don't cut it, oh, except you damage it like me. I'm feeling bad about it. Yeah, my hair was damaged, really damaged. So I'm trying to regrow it. Please don't cut your hair. Oh. Don't cut it. When my hair is this full, oh my days, I will style it. When my hair grow this long and full, that's how we leave it. I got some split ends though. Yeah, it's always like that. But it will definitely grow back. I don't want to cut the tip. I just want it to just break off itself. And your hair is ugly. Really? Somebody on the comment section, Paris, just said your hair is ugly. What are we going to tell the person? What's your name? My name is Essay. Hi, Caleb. Your hair stinks. Oh, you don't know anything. I love your hair. Thank you so much, Melissa. Eh? Your hair is so beautiful. It's not ugly. Don't listen to them. Thank you so much, Rachel. Bethany, also, your hair is still beautiful. Thank you so much. I just feel sorry for you. The person that said it, your hair is ugly. Honestly, I feel sorry for you. In this civilized world, you are still talking like this. In this 2026 century, you are still talking like this. What a pity. Anyways, I wish you the best. Oh, so sorry for you. 2026 century. 2020, I'm still talking like this.
20th century.
20th century. You're still talking like this. Oh, my days. Oh, it's a pity. I just feel like crying for you. I love your videos. Thank you so much, Melissa. Your hair is so beautiful. I love coily hair. I love you. Thank you, my darling. Your hair is so short. Not really short. If I straighten it, it will be long. You know, coily hair always they always coil and it comes up like that. But if you straighten it, it will be very long. So curly hair are very long. I think they should be the longest so far. If you stretch it, it's very long. So if I straighten my hair now, it gets here under my boobs. That's a long hair. Yeah, that's a long hair. The hair is down to your back. Oh, your hair is down to your back, but it's shoulder length for me. Yeah, if you straighten it, it will be down to your back, but it is shoulder. It's always like that. Curly hairs are like that. They are very pranky. They'll prank you to look that it looks like they are short, but they are not. If you straighten it, it will be very long. You know? Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's like that. A big shout out to Chloe. A big shout out to Annie. A big shout out to Tyron. A big shout out to Annie. A big shout out to Harmony. You are the best. I love you so much, Florence. You are the best as well. A big shout out to Melia. Can you give me a big shout out to Onta? A big shout out to Amanda. You're pretty. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Zayla. A big shout out to Lucas. A big shout out to Somalia. A big shout out to Mali. A big shout out to Darcy. You're so lovely. Thank you so much, my darling. A big shout out to Harry. A big shout out to Abeya. I thought you were a model. Model? No, I'm not a model. I'm model at home. I'm a model in my house. Yeah, I've not gone for any job like that. But when I get one, yeah, but when I get one, I will. Yeah, just like a fashion runway. Yeah, I will do it. I love it. Yeah.
Hello? That's
Yeah.
no custom.
Oh, sorry. I just want to come out and me and know. A big shout out to Chloe. A big shout out to Datsy. A big shout out to Raina. A big shout out to Zahari. A big shout out to Daisy. Your laugh is so nice. You should laugh more often.
Hello?
Oh, my days.
That's
Okay, I will try. But honestly, I don't laugh. Yeah, all the time. There are some live stream that, yeah, I just keep that face,
yeah.
but I don't frown. I try not to frown. Yeah, so I try to smile, to laugh. A big shout out to Nayeli. I watched your live yesterday. Yay!
Gerard.
And you are watching again. Yay! A big shout out to Jassy. Welcome, my darling. Welcome. Yeah, put down your name. Let me give you a shout out. A big shout out to Ariana.
Hey, don't touch it like that. Bring it. Don't touch it like.
A big shout out to Emily. He's very sensitive.
Put it in your ear.
Help him do it.
Bring it.
A big shout out to
I
subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. A big shout out to Kiki. Thank you, Maya. A big shout out to DJ. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Savannah. Guys, I'll be leaving in 1 minute's time, and I'll be back for
for
5. I'll be back 7 o'clock UK time. Is that okay? Yes, I remember you very well. A big shout out to Willow.
No, not really.
Yeah, I'll be back
Not really.
7 o'clock UK time. Is that okay?
From from thank you.
Yeah, I'll be leaving now and I'll be back. It's okay, don't worry.
I'm
Take your
not
time,
at all.
okay? You'll try your best. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Okay. Take your time. Thank you so
Amen.
much. So I'll be leaving now. I'll be waiting for
Amen.
you. Oh, thank you so much. So I will leave now and yeah, I'll be back around 7. Yeah, if I will come back
That's Kiki.
early,
And
That
then
was
I'll be
Kiki's
back.
one.
Then I'll be back like around 6 o'clock. So between 6 and 7, Sha. Then let's just say 6 and 7 UK time. Yeah. I love you, Maya. Thank you
On
so much. Thank you
April
guys for
3rd.
your cooperation. Thank you for your support. I love you all. Thank you so much. What
Yeah.
country are you from? Real quick. Yeah, I'm from
I can't
Nigeria,
hear
but I
what she's
live in
saying.
the UK. You are my favorite. Thank you so much, darling. You all are just so
drop
kind.
kick.
You
Yes.
all are kind.
Yes.
You're really kind
Yeah.
to me. And your comments met my
Yeah, we did
heart.
celebrate it.
Thank you so much. Okay. I will see you guys soon. Okay. Be nice. Stay happy till when I come back. Okay. I'll see ya. I love your hair. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, love. Bye.